Hi, welcome to the 1 Liter Podcast. You will watch us drinking 1 liters of beer whilst talking about shies. Please like and subscribe. Welcome to the 1 Liter.
Cheers.
It's Friday.
Phil's been sick, so we haven't done this in a week. So this is a week incoming.
I've been so sick. I never get sick. I always boast about that. I always talk like I've got the strongest immune system in the world. I'm like, please, I don't get sick. Please. Yeah, cough on me. Cough in my mouth.
Yeah.
I don't get sick. Please.
You're like harder.
And it was kind of proven when I did when I'm close with other people and they get sick and then I get the same sickness, I'm always like, oh, you're still sick? Oh, do you remember when I said my throat was scratchy? I felt sick for 1 hour the next day and then I was healthy. You're weak.
Dude,
That's me basically in a nutshell. But now this one, I was like, oh, I'm feeling crook like last Thursday. And then I got to Friday, I'm like, I'm really not feeling great. Fucked up my whole weekend. Did barely anything. Cancelled on the podcast. I was like, what the fuck? Sleeping and stuff. Just being on the couch like, why? I had this wheezy cough. And then it just went and traveled into my head and just had a mad head cold. So I was like, I'm getting double whammied here. I got that flu Rona, you know?
Flu Rona.
Except the other way around because it started with Rona and then went to the flu. Shee.
Did you manage to catch up on some Netflix shows or something?
No. I really didn't. I watched, I think, 1 or 2 movies.
What'd you watch?
I watched... Fuck, you put me on the spot. Now
Of course I did, dude. You're not going to tell me you sat on the couch for half a week and didn't watch specifics, right?
Oh, I watched, have you seen The Last Action Hero?
With Arnie?
Yeah.
Fuck
the
yeah,
old
dude.
school
The
movie
80s one.
where the kid fucking gets in the movie and he's like,
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll be back. I bet you didn't know I was going to say that. Of course I did. It's your thing. You always work it in every movie and everyone's going to be like, oh, when's he going to do it?
Yeah. Is that the first time you've seen that movie?
No. I've seen
It's
it
a
like
classic.
years and years ago and I was like, fuck, I got to watch that again.
How brutal's the part when the villain comes through New York and he's like, shoots that place. He's like, I just killed somebody.
And I did it on purpose.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up from the house. And then he's like, I like this place.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, it's so bad.
It's
You're like,
so
oh
lit.
God, he's going to cause havoc. And then he brings old mate back, the Reaper guy.
Yeah.
Not the Reaper, but the
Dude,
raincoat guy.
With the axe, he was scary as fuck, dude. On the start, he was so scary. He's like, you're mine, motherfucker.
This time round, when they're filming him from below to make him look scary, right? He's like, you can fucking see like the dentures that he used for those big ugly teeth that he's got. I'm like, hey man, I can see your props, dude. It's your costume, man.
I love that. I love catching people out.
Yeah.
I never catch props. That was a props to you for catching that props, no pun intended. But stunt
Props for the
doubles,
props.
I get the stunt doubles all the time. Like, that's clearly a man.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, he's wearing a wig.
That guy's 30
Yeah.
and the character's 15.
Yeah, that character's at least like 3 inches shorter than the actual actor. He's like a fucking midget.
Mate, that guy is way too jacked to have been the character.
Yeah.
He's
Look
like,
at those trap muscles. Yeah.
Do you know about like the Home Alone making with the stunt people? So that was one of the first films, properly acted films, where they wanted to get the silly slipping like in the cartoons.
Like a real version of it.
And these fucking stunt guys come in and they're just like, yeah, we fucking love this shit. And they're just like, all right, we want you to go up the stairs and there's going to be the honey on the stairs. And that was the first one they filmed and they interviewed the stunt man. And he's like, so I just went up the 2 steps and I just jumped as hard as I could and just sent it like onto his back. And everyone just freaked. Like, because they're filming this lighthearted family comedy and they're like, oh God, is this too much?
Wait, hang on. So
legit.
So this is like a happy, wholesome film. The crew are used to that kind of filming that, but then they've got stunt doubles who are used to action doing these crazy stunts.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! So they're like, oh shit, dude, you alright?
Yeah, but the stunt guys are like still being silly, and they're like,
Yeah.
I know what to do, and just launch it. Oh, and then it's like, oh my God, and they thought like, can we put this in this movie? Like, is this too much?
I can imagine
and
that
then they
dude,
had
like,
to
is this
just perfectly edit it with the sounds and stuff to still make it funny. So it's not like, oh, that guy got fucked up. Like
Yeah,
when he
yeah,
gets
yeah.
the iron in the face and
or the
shit.
yeah. Yeah. Merv, his name's Merv. I love that name, dude. If I ever met someone whose name was like his last name was Murphy, I'd be like, see you tonight, Murph. I'd be like, hey, Murph. He's like, please call me Jason. He's like, your name's fucking Murph, cunt.
Name's
Dude,
Murph the Smurf.
the wet bandits. That's what they were called. And the tarantula. Ah! He's got the fucking. Homemade gets nailed by some paint buckets. The other one gets a fucking iron and the tarantula on the face. And he steps on the fucking nail, dude.
On the fucking electricity and the lights catching fire and shit.
Bro, wait. Who thought? Who's a fucking genius? We gotta Google this. Who's the genius who thought, I'm gonna make a film about a kid who's stuck at home by himself,
Dude.
but burglars break in and this kid uses MacGyver techniques to survive? Do you know what's genius?
Dude.
I love. Wait. Can I just say, sorry to cut you off, this is exactly how I would write. If I'm writing a script for something, I would make it as far-fetched as a big family going to France.
Dude.
And they're so dismissive of this kid who fucking can like set up booby traps.
Dude, this is exactly what like they go into this because this is this is an episode of the movies that made us, that series.
Yeah.
So they could do Home Alone. And so that's exactly how this dude was writing it. He was like, how can I make a Christmas movie but make it like this and this? And he writes this fucking script and he pitches it to people and he's like, this is never going to get bought. But then they like talk about the guy that was reading it and he was like, I like it. Like it all makes sense. Like you've written it properly. Like, yeah, of course. They've got 12 kids. It would be easy to miss someone if you're trying to rush to this flight because the electricity went out and they slept in. It makes total sense.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, that's plausible. And then he's at home. They can't figure out. And then hit the storm, the power's still out, so they can't ring him. Yep, makes sense. Done. Checks out. There was no mobiles back then.
Yeah.
So it all made sense. And he was like, I'll make it. I'm keen.
And he just had the skills already. Like no one taught this kid to do some brutal shit. Bro, you just summed it up. That's so fucking funny.
But yeah, you're right. That part's completely unrealistic. Like, how does the kid fucking know? It's
Yeah.
like, if I measure this string out here, and then if I throw it here, it's definitely gonna swing and hit him in the face here.
Yeah,
He's
dude,
drawing
like,
graphs and shit.
the kid's done some serious algebra. Hey, like, bro, that kid's gonna be a fucking rocket scientist or something. But you feeling it right now though?
Yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
Yeah.
My sickness is fine. I still got like a little bit of head cold.
Mm.
Dude, do you ever use like
Congestion.
yes? Do you ever use like they're probably terrible for like your sinuses and stuff, but the nasal sprays?
A couple of times, but like they kind of work. You're like,
I get like the
"Oh."
menthol flavored one.
That'd be strong.
Oh man, it's so spicy. You like do like 3 things and it's like burns and your eyes start watering. But then like 10 minutes later, you're like, when before you were just completely congested. It just
True.
like, it just scares away all the fucking mucus.
Is it like
I don't know how the fuck it
antibacterial
works.
spray or something? Like, does it just?
I think it
break
just
down?
dilates your, it must
Like
do
a
something with
steroid.
your sinuses. Yeah.
True.
Like
I-
maybe the opposite to Viagra.
True. I'd get one just for the fuck of it and just do it every morning for no reason.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, is it any good for you?
Nah, probably not.
Probably not.
Steroid and some whatever. Bro, I was thinking something cool. Like I'll be at work, right? Or mainly at work. I'm not whatever. I'll just send an email and be like, email sent. And I did like this voice, right? And it got me
The
thinking the other day.
confirmation voice
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
robot that's doing it for you.
Exactly that. The female AI that's really
Oh,
calming.
pardon
right?
me.
Woo!
God damn.
Yoink. So like I'm thinking, right, imagine this in the future. You go up to a toilet. This can be anywhere, right? Maybe not public toilets. Maybe they haven't got that close yet to like technology, but you go up to any toilet, your home toilet, you urinate. Scanning.
Yes.
pH levels are low. Dehydration level at 45%. We suggest you drink 1.6 liters of H2O. Sleep, heart rate and stool blood samples tell us that you are deficient in iron, B12 supplements and or blah blah blah. Shall I suggest you options for the closest store that you can buy B12 supplements? Where can I buy traditional steak? The closest place is 24 kilometers away. Harvey's Meat Butchery. You know?
Boom.
Crazy
Crazy
fucking
Jarvis shit. Is it
Jarvis,
Jarvis?
yeah, from fuck, yeah.
Crazy Jarvis shit.
How
is what
cool
we
is that
need.
though? And then you take a shit, blood in stool. Check stomach, you know, like
Check yourself fucking out.
yeah, check it out.
What are you
Cost.
drinking?
I am drinking, I don't even know, ciders. It's like a
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Googleplex.
Hard cider, like 7% stuff. And this is just the standard old Sherman beer again,
Hofler.
the Hofler.
Hofler. Yeah.
And Phil's fun fact.
Oh, you got one?
Did you know?
Go for it.
This blew my fucking mind, man. Do you know that about the Amazon and like a ton of it is unexplored?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how much surface area is unexplored of the Amazon rainforest?
Here's the thing. People say there's unexplored areas on the earth, which I kind of find hard to believe these days. But there are actually parts of the Brazilian rainforest, the Amazon, that haven't been set foot on.
Correct.
So,
Huge parts.
wow. How far? How much land?
Larger than the subcontinent of India.
Bro.
Larger than Germany, Spain, and I think France glued together.
Bro.
That is so much space and area.
Do you know what's crazy about that? There's probably plants there that could like cure anything, right?
We've never seen them.
We've never seen it. So they can't even pick shit up from like aerial footage
So they
because it's so dense.
Dense rainforest.
Bro, there's civilizations out there that are probably like got a machine that can make you fly.
Yeah. There's like
I
there
doubt
would
it
be
because you'd
yeah,
see
but
them,
like
right?
there's,
Maybe they're the
there is
fucking
tribes in there
aliens.
though. There is tribes in there.
Maybe they're the aliens in the
that
fucking...
they've never, and they know about these tribes and they're protected by the Brazilian like government.
Well, they
because we
try
would
to,
kill
yeah.
them
Yeah, but there are
from our diseases.
I've read, oh, true, for sure. But I've read also there's some like privateer companies who are like deforesting the fucking rainforest.
Oh yeah, that's why they're uncovering all this shit, like these fucking markings.
And they've got squads that just mow down people. So like,
fuck.
yeah, I read that, dude. Like people are like, I'm murder, they come out with the spears and it's like, brr, 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 like here,
That's
taste of
so brutal.
have some 21st century, because these are private companies who are just fucking destroying
Anything
the
to make the
rainforest.
money.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, all right, well, let's get some mercenaries to fucking boom, 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 boom.
But see, when I heard about like all this deforestation of the Amazon rainforest, like, oh my God, we're gonna fucking kill it all, blah blah blah. I thought they were like mauling it, but they have still got so much of it left. Like
So
they've only
much.
scratched the surface, and it's a lot that they've deforested. Like it's crazy amounts of area, like to the horizon, basically. Because
Really?
like the horizon on ground is probably like 7 to 10 kilometers. It's
Bro,
not
there's
long.
some serious Anuki plants out there that could probably like cure like fucking like smegma, you know?
Watch
Smegma
this
pills?
once and bling.
Yeah.
Ching, ching.
Wait, but
So only-
hey, did you see the first Anaconda film with Ice Cube in it and J-Lo?
No.
It was a.
Yeah.
They made a second one. You gotta watch I was gonna say we should, but you should watch the Anaconda films. They're kind of lame.
I've heard
but
of these. Yeah,
The second film,
yeah. Whoa.
the second film, I'm not sure if it's the Amazon. It could be, but the second film, they're like starts off in a boardroom and they're like a fucking cosmetics company or something that's like longevity, right? And they're like, here is the tuki plant, recently discovered in the Amazon somewhere. And it's like a weird exotic plant that they made for the
Yeah.
movie. And they're like, it only grows once a year on the side of a cliff face.
Wow.
Typical.
Yeah.
And they're like, this thing has the skill to like rejuvenate, And they're like, we need to get this one plant so we can clone it. And they're like, all right, send an expedition, you lead it. And this black dude's like, I got it.
This is all the movie.
It's the fucking movie. This black dude goes with like a whole team, and some of them like lovers, some of them are backstabbers. It's really fucking
Still good?
awkward. Yeah, still good. Yeah. It's like really awkward. Some backstabbers, some like weirdos, right? So they go there and they don't realize, but like anacondas, like the typical like, killer,
of course,
like Hollywood anacondas, not
Yeah.
the regular anacondas who just chill. The Hollywood anacondas are fucking right near the plant, dude. They want that plant. They
Protect it. Yeah.
I learned from watching the Anaconda 2 film that snakes actually have children. They keep rubbing on each other and like to excrete the I guess semen. I
yeah.
guess.
To
I didn't know that.
skin themselves, right?
Yeah, no, that's how they mate.
Oh.
So while they're rolling together, the juices are like coming out
Oh,
of the
really?
pores.
So there's no like penetration.
No, there's no penetration. It just like leaks out of the male's body into the woman. It's weird. I don't know. And then like they're like,
Skin semen.
yeah, you gotta watch the movie. There's like a part he's like climbing down trying to get this fucking rose, dude, of this like weird orchid, and there's like 2 anacondas fucking down below, and it's like, oh shit, if they find out, they can eat this cunt. I'm pretty sure they do, but yeah. So
Of course they do.
that is fascinating. I'm gonna talk.
Dude.
Phil's fun fact should be the whole podcast because that is crazy.
Dude, this like when you said just then, like, oh, the movie, I think it's like somewhere in the Amazon. When we say somewhere in the Amazon, that could be saying either somewhere in Spain or somewhere in France or somewhere in Germany. Like it's so huge. Like it could be like it's in 3 different countries. I mean, the Amazon goes across different countries.
It's huge, man. South America's huge.
So only very recently, we're talking like 2018 onwards, is where they've started discovering all this shit. And now they're doing satellites in infrared. So they're starting to find like infrared, like perfect shapes and stuff of like dirt mounds and shit, like where buildings could possibly have been.
There could be like a bunch of Machu Picchu's, bro. There could be heaps.
And that's what blew my mind. I was like, holy shit. So Machu Picchu is probably one of those ancient civilizations
Could be the smaller one of them.
that were never connected to like the Western civilization that is now. Like I always thought, oh yeah, that would have been like the Peruvian history, but no, they're completely disconnected to the Peruvians that we know now.
Yeah.
They're just like, we don't know about that.
Yeah.
Someone made that. We know nothing.
Yeah. Dude, do you know what's fucking wild on the same
have you
topic?
heard of El Dorado?
Bro, the city of gold? Fuck yeah. Bro.
Do you know the theory on that? Because it never was found, right?
Yeah.
So they reckon that first guy that went through and was like, oh my God, look at this, city of gold. Da, 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 da. The Westerners.
I don't know a guy saw a city of gold.
So yeah.
So one of the conquistadors, like a Spanish explorer, said that?
Yeah. Spanish explorer he was the first guy to go the entire length of the Amazon River.
Right. He was the dude on Joe Rogan who was saying he saw like on the riverbank, he saw huge monuments and millions of people.
Yes.
And then when they went back, there was no one.
Exactly.
Like
and they were like,
smallpox.
oh, this guy's crazy. But because they entered their community, they gave them all their fucking Spanish Western diseases, and the guys died the following
Smallpox,
year.
yeah.
Heaps of them died of smallpox, and the rest that didn't die probably fled in their little tribes now. And then they reckon it would only take 50 years in that rainforest for it to completely engulf everything. 50 years is a long time. You and I haven't been alive for 50 years. So, but like, then nobody else was going through there for another 50 years. So 100 years later, the next guy goes through and goes, there's nothing here, guys. There's nothing here. He was crazy. He's lying.
Isn't that fucked up, dude? Like,
that shit is out there.
Can you imagine? I saw a funny Keanu Reeves meme for Keanu. It's a picture of Keanu Reeves and Bill and Ted. And he's like, whoa, because these characters like, whoa, no way, from the Bill and Ted films. The meme basically said, can you imagine if the most poisonous berries on the planet were eaten by people who are allergic to them and we're missing out on a delicious berry?
And nobody else has tried since.
Wrap your shit around that, bro.
Wrap your shit around it.
Here's
Holy
this
shit.
Focus on this for a moment, though. This is nuts. The Spanish conquistadors, right? They're the dudes with like the fucking curved helmets and like the silver fucking chest plates and then the fucking big puffy arms. Cortez, this general, right? Naval general, I don't know what the fuck he is, sequester or whatever, rocks up to Mexico. So here's the thing. When you think of the Romans conquering half of Europe and North Africa and whatever, and then they got to Britain and Germania and Gaul, which is France, and they found these tribes of people, right? So we think about our people, our ancestors, seeing a more civilized group of people who have better than us, trying to conquer us and conquering us, right? So we can think about that. But we don't think about things like the Spanish conquistadors who came from like Christendom, who were like, had swords, probably had muskets,
metal and shit on their clothing and
rocked up to fucking Mexico and found the Mayans, the Aztecs, right? The Aztecs, dude.
Yeah.
So we're not, because we're white people, we probably don't think about the comparison. But the same comparison as ancient Germans and Romans, right? Finding Roman legions and explorers, right? The conquistadors rock up. This is where you got Aztecs, all that shit. This isn't Brazil. This is Mexico. All of them were wearing gold and they had jade and stuff. It was like, oh fuck. Conquistadors like, we know what gold is. You motherfuckers got a lot of it. You clearly know.
Yeah, but it's not even we know what gold is. It's like we know what we label gold back where we come from.
Yeah, you
We
guys
value it differently. Yeah.
You guys think it's flashy. We think it's fucking
Money.
I'm set for the rest of my life. They massacred the fucking Mayans, dude. Massacred them. And they would have even just had to go and they could have done the job, but they massacred them. But so many of them escaped. So like when you look
Of
at
course.
when you
They
look
know
at,
the land. They'd be just.
yeah. So when you look at Mexicans today, that's why like Pirates of the Caribbean is like Cortez's gold. Remember the gold coins that
Yeah.
Jack Sparrow's and stuff? That was from Cortez.
Oh,
They were cursed.
shit.
Cursed from the Mayans or some shit. I don't
Yes.
know. So that's where they're
That's
like,
a great
"Oh,
film.
yeah. So when you think about it, it's like some of those Mayans obviously escaped, but Mexicans today, people from Mexico today, huge Spanish influence. But if you look at a Mexican person and a Spanish person, there are some differences
Oh,
in
heaps
the
of
general public.
differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the Mexicans still have that kind of Mayan Aztec-y look, where the Spanish are more like Italian looking and very
Yeah.
you can kind of tell, but like fascinating shit, dude.
So
But
fascinating.
but Brazil, I don't know too much
Scary
about.
shit, dude. Like
Yeah.
shit that we can't fathom now. It's like what we're seeing with like Russia and Ukraine. But imagine if Russia waltzed into Ukraine and massacred them.
Yeah.
Like everyone. They're not just going, oh, we're doing some military operations. Like that's what the fuck it was like back then.
Yeah.
They just went into another community that was all well run. They just didn't have the internet and were all connected like they are now.
Killed people.
And they
dude.
just went, they're just like, you are not worthy.
Imagine just being a normal human being and then going, I'm going to join the army because I got nothing else to do, right? And then
Or
you,
because you're patriotic.
yeah, and they're
You
like,
want to be a fucking hero.
okay, sure, let's go with that. Let's go. We're going to this other country. Let's say we're in Europe, so it's a fucking stone's throw away. Germany to Poland. We're going here. Fuck, bros. Oi, boys, we're going here. Fuck shit. Listen here, fucking make sure your ammo's connected. We're going here. You got to do this, this, and this. You keep your fucking mouth shut. Keep your head down. We're going to be all right, boys. All right? Yes, sir. Oh, fuck, boys. This is serious. We're going here. We rock up. Oh, shit. Look at these people. Firing squad. You're like, what? That's a fucking human being, bro. I don't speak their language, but that's that person looks a lot like my mom. Fire! Grrr.
Ugh.
Can you imagine how...
And they got no weapons.
Right.
They're just like, what the fuck are these people?
Yeah.
Dead.
All right, boys. Get yourself some food. You're done for the day. What do? You just sit there with the hot meal in your hands and just like...
Do you think that would have
I
been...
just killed someone who's like my mum.
Yeah.
Like, what if
Do you
someone's back home killing my mum like this? You know? How does a human being contemplate that?
They don't. That's
And
why
this
they
is what I'm
just
saying.
suppress and get fucked up.
We are a violent race, right?
Yeah,
We're very
time.
violent. If you look at apes, man, they beat the shit out of each other all the time.
They fucking eat each other.
Exactly, they're cannibals. But we have that impulse, but at the same time, once we do these deeds, these horrible inhumane deeds, we regret it.
And we get all fucked up, yeah.
So where do we draw the line?
Mm,
That line is civilization.
yes.
That line is civilization,
This is
dude.
where you become civilized
Yeah.
because your mind is thinking of consequences of your actions.
Yeah, but it's hanging on a thread. Think about it. We have every day someone cuts you off on the road. I'll fucking kill you, cunt. And then you keep going about your day and you forget about it. But in that impulse, if that impulse was just a little bit stronger than it is, you would have got out of that car and stabbed that person to death with the keys in your knuckles.
Yeah.
Or you would have like raped a woman or bashed a person at a club. Just fucking crazy shit.
This is
And then like chemical imbalances, like kids who are going around shooting up schools, like it's a lot of different things involved, like shitty household, abusive parents, maybe not the most love, but it's the
pushes them
same.
over the edge.
But
Yeah.
it's pushing that thing in their head, that clock, that.
And then this is where psychopaths come into the equation, because this is why, like, you think about psychopaths, like they're rejected from society now, like, and why haven't they been bred out? The question is because they're useful. They were useful in that scenario where you would go, we're going to take over this people. I want people to come here. Let's get these psychos. These guys are psychos.
Yeah.
They would go there and they'd go, brr, brr, do exactly that and go, I don't feel anything. Let's
Bro.
get out of here.
Oi, last podcast we did, we talked about how we think why aliens are around and why we're around and why we have contact with aliens. And we kind of came with an interesting conclusion. It was like, I remember this was like, we're just an experiment, right?
Yeah,
that was
just
our
watching
conclusion.
us.
This is another extremely plausible idea, bro. For so long, we had subjugated, annihilated, and infiltrate, destroy, rebuild, right?
Yeah.
Different cultures did that all throughout history. We're still doing it today. And at some point along the line, there was one guy was born, he did like this. Then his son was born, and he did just like dad, and he did it, and he did it. And they've just got so proficient at violence that there was almost like a psycho. The next couple of things was like,
It's
not
dampened out that part of the brain
that
that feels that connection
Yeah,
and empathy
yeah.
with the victims.
And today we think, oh, someone's a psycho. They're this completely abhorrent thing. They must be possessed by some kind of demon. And it's like, no, it's probably just evolution, dude.
Yeah.
It's probably like
Breeding.
genetic coding. So we
Breeding,
need to,
just like there's all these different dog types now that probably derive from a few less breeds, and then people crossbred them, and then that became its own breed, and
Exactly.
it changes.
Exactly. So maybe next time they should take someone like a Jeffrey Dahmer or someone crazy who's killed people, right? And then look at their background. Maybe do ancestry.com. But here's an interesting thing.
Mad Dog Tennant.
Mad Dog Tennant. Yeah, dude.
The bully at
Yeah.
school.
Nobody calls me Mad Dog. Especially not some duded up, egg sucking gutter trash. but hang on, think about this. All right, so we've got that. And then you have some psychopaths who are like sexual violence, right? So then that's a whole nother thing in particular.
It's a whole nother fucking thing.
That's like that thing shut off in the brain, but at the same time they feel like, oh, I didn't get this much love from mother, so I need to take out my pain on another woman, right? So it's we're so complex as humans.
This is the whole thing with like this. There's some weird shit in the world that's probably been the makings of weird sexual psychopaths like that. Like, have you heard about this fucking Papua New Guinea ritual with like natives?
No.
Oh my God. Their rite of passage to becoming a man is they would take the children, or you can look this up. They would take the children away from their mother, and they would go through this process of where they would get oral raped by these older men from the age of 6
Male
onwards.
and female.
No, men. This is how you became a man.
To get face fucked by another man.
Face fucked by another man while they stick these like bamboo sticks or something up your nose until you bleed. So you're meant to endure the pain, and they believe that the only way to become a man is to have semen from another man ingested.
Oh, no!
This is what they believe.
No.
That shit was invented by some fucking sickos that wanted to face fuck children, little boys.
Tell me they don't do that anymore.
I have no idea.
Oh.
That is fucked up.
Oh my God, dude. That is
Sorry about that, everyone listening.
That is, yeah, look, no, bro, we're just talking facts, right?
Yeah.
That is so fucked up.
So fucked up.
Bro, can you imagine living after that and just being like,
but then
I need
they
to kill
pass it
some
on to
people.
the next generation because that's what they had to do.
But like, bro, like, I guess like what you're saying is like, that's just the culture, right?
Yeah.
And they're
That's disgusting,
convinced
but
that is what is proper, so you got to do it regardless of how you feel.
weird shit, man. The things that we've been able to fabricate from nothing by someone having an idea. I think that all the time. Do you know what I think about all the time?
Religion.
Yes.
How they got
Tied
away
into
with
that.
it? Mm.
But tied into that. But whenever I think of like history, like not so long ago, so like 1800s, 1700s, 1800s, 1900s, right? 1900s, they were like, end of 1800s, they were like, oh, people drank a lot of booze. It was cleaner than water. Then they were able to clean up water. Yeah, legit.
Yeah.
They'd
Like,
be drinking booze
alcohol
because
was
the water
cleaner in
would
Europe.
poison you. Yeah.
Yeah, Germany, England, they all
That's
did
why
it.
they were constantly drunk. Then someone was like,
They're constantly drunk.
They were.
Yeah, it's true.
So what I think about with history, like
no
that,
wonder there was so many wars in Europe. They were just fucking pissed. They're like,
not even
how dare
wars,
you,
dude.
cunt? You know?
But like, I just think of anyone that's had this crazy story, right?
Mm.
Because it wasn't just booze. the booze was like the thing that got out of hand because everyone was drinking it. Then someone figured out how to clean the water, and they had clean water, and they went, "This booze thing's bad. Prohibition. Let's make this illegal." Then what happens when something
The
becomes
lower
illegal?
class were like, fuck you, we need this because I got to live in squalor while you're living in a
Exactly.
castle.
But do you know what happens when something's made illegal? It becomes a black market. What's key to smuggling something in the black market? You can't be smuggling a liter of whiskey, and that's just a liter of whiskey. How do we make it less liquid and more potent? Moonshine was born. You can have the most amount of alcohol concentration in the smallest package, so you can smuggle it.
Moonshine
People are
sounds
dying.
heavy duty,
Dude, people dying from alcohol poisoning because they're just drinking far too high percentage of alcohol.
So moonshine was just like really concentrated
Really
alcohol
concentrated
and
spirits. Yeah.
ammonia. Wow, bro. So moonshine was like, oh,
Yeah.
goddamn.
And it would
Ugh.
fuck your shit
It's
up.
like battery acid.
So then that's just the booze portion. And then it was like, oh, we can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And then they decided to make drugs illegal. That is the point that I mean. All these people, once they discovered it, like the basic stuff, but like the mushrooms were only discovered from tribes and stuff. But
Mhm.
once these drugs were around and they weren't illegal yet, like cocaine, people were just high on cocaine. And people, that's violent. And people were just high on hash all the time. All these people that are like, oh my God, I saw an angel with 1,000 eyes. He was high as fuck, bro.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You were high as fuck, man, and drunk off your tits.
Yeah.
All these historic stories, I'm like, how sober were they? What were they hydrating
Totally.
with?
And like when you think of people from like the medieval times, bro, they only lived to like 60 years old. It's like, yeah, because all you drank
Not
was
even, dude.
all you drank
They would
was
die at 30.
40 and shit. All
They're
you-
having kids at 13 and then they die at 30.
yeah,
You know, you're 7 now. You can look after yourself. Yeah.
because they couldn't refrigerate meat. They'd salt everything and just drink alcohol, bro. You just fucking your heart failure.
You just shrivel into a leather bag.
Totally,
Just dry out.
totally. But crazily enough, those crusty people managed to survive long enough until we're here.
Yeah. Like develop into
Yeah.
us
And
slowly.
But we still have hang-ups from a lot of their genetic diseases. It pops up in ours. And
Yeah.
we're like, thanks, asshole, I have this. I didn't even do this,
Yeah.
you know?
What the fuck is this appendix? What do you mean it can burst?
Yeah.
Where the fuck did this come from?
Exactly.
It's not used for anything.
The appendix
in our
is
body.
like a useless organ, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
I've heard theories where people think there's probably actual explanations for this, but I always thought it was like they reckon it was like from when we ate way more like wild berries and shit. It was part of the digestion that would like filter like all the dirt that we were eating, kind of thing.
We've just got a random organ sitting in a body doing nothing.
It's like, yeah, we don't need you anymore, bro.
Yeah, do your fucking job, bro. Like, do something.
It's just like, you're not giving me any dirt.
We just eat a bit of dirt every day to like
Yeah.
get the.
It
Can you
just
imagine?
gets angry, inflamed, blows up. You're dead now.
Yeah, you're dead now, yeah. How do I keep this thing healthy and happy, you know? Just eat some more fucking dirt. Eat some like proper soil.
Oh, shit.
bro. We just went on a solid tangent.
Solid.
I love how you and I think a couple of our podcasts, we've involved at least like maybe 3 or 4 stories of like comparisons from us to like medieval times.
Yeah,
We're like,
it's so good.
dude, we're doing so good. We're doing so good right now. We have like fucking neuroscience and shit, bro.
We got neuroscience. We're just like, cancer, it's a killer. Back then, they were just like, he died.
Yeah.
We don't know why.
He wasn't feeling well for like 2 weeks
Yeah.
and he died.
Had a big headache. Now he dead. And
Yeah.
now we're like, it's stage 2 cancer. We're going to have to do some scans, potentially put some chemicals in your body that's going to attack the cancer cells. And then we might have to go in and cut it out. But we've got this new laser technology. We might be able to zap it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just sit tight. We'll
Yeah.
figure something out.
Yeah. It's like, thank you, doctor. You know? Back then it was
it's
like,
he got a big lump on his chest.
rub dog shit on it. It might kill it, you know?
He had this big lump on his chest, and then he just died. You know,
Yeah.
fuck.
Bro,
So, like, have you
Yep.
played fucking Red Dead Redemption 2?
I haven't, bro.
Dude.
Like, some guys at work were talking about it today. They were like, Red Dead, so sick. The soundtrack, I was like, huh?
Oh, I mean, spoiler, but like, you're the main character, and you catch tuberculosis, and in the end, it fucking kills you because that's
the
just
grand
what
ca-
happens.
That's what happens.
This is what happens with back then with
Yeah, yeah.
tuberculosis. You were just like, I'm just going to die now.
Yeah.
It's going to take me a while. It's going to be painful. I'm going to be coughing up blood. I'm going to be fainting.
Yeah.
But sick. This is my fate.
Bro.
Like, they had nothing for it. They were just like, oh, you've got tuberculosis.
I might as well gamble and
What
drink.
can I do?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Nothing.
Yeah. The doctor's like, well, you got tuberculosis. You ain't gonna do. You got the cough, boy.
Hey, I'm going to go get me some smokes and a whiskey.
Bro, oi, legit. If someone said to me, "There's no cure for something," I'd smoke and drink whiskey every fucking day.
Hell
bro.
yeah.
I'd smoke 2 packs a day, bro. I'd be
What
like,
the fuck? Yeah. Keep me calm, nicotine.
Get me calm. There's a dude. I think I gotta spell check. Not spell check. What is it? I
gotta spell check my speech.
I got to account check. Look at the calluses. I got to account check, but like I would have said this on the podcast before, but there was a doctor somewhere in the South, and there was a bunch of kids who had tuberculosis, and he had like a ranch or like a bit of land, and he got all these kids like they weren't his, like different kids, and he's like, I can cure tuberculosis in children. He did through sunlight, bro.
Oh my god, they were all just vitamin D deficient as fuck.
And
But
there's
didn't they like work out on the fields and shit?
probably yeah.
Oh,
So
but they
there's
must
like,
have had like long clothing and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, maybe.
Muddy long clothing, blocks
it-
out the sun.
yeah, it shows yes, exactly.
With the big
Mud.
hat.
Yeah, and but it has black and white photos of these kids, and they're all like, there's like lined up beds on the deck, and they're like sleeping on it, and they sleep, and then the sun and stuff, and so he gets them to work out in the field, and there's like this emaciated kid, and then it shows like, it doesn't say the date, but it shows him later, and he's like lifting massive hay bales, and he's like fully healthy.
Next minute, the guy going through history just got the photos mixed up.
Mm.
He was nice and healthy, then he was decrepit, and then he was dead.
Then he died. Yeah. Can you imagine? So basically, like this guy's cure, I'm not sure if it helped for everyone, but like this guy's version of curing tuberculosis was through like vitamin D.
Yeah.
And it worked for kids. And like it shows all the kids, it's like black and white, but you can see they're clearly tanned, and it's like, you
Bruh.
cunts.
And again, that guy was the guy doing a miracle. So like back when they were inventing religion, they're like, my God, this guy had the healing power of an angel.
Mm.
He healed these children with tuberculosis.
Yeah.
And the cunt just figured out, hey, if you sit in the sun,
Yeah, you're
I
pretty
don't know,
pale.
it helps ya.
Wait.
It helps thee.
Oh, your fucking kids are really pale, eh? Just get them in the fucking sun. Yeah, like this dude's a messiah. Bro. It's weird. Oop.
Bro?
Yeah, it was like, so the thing is, like, I believe in science wholeheartedly. I believe like in medicine, but at the same time, people who's constantly negative and like causing all that cortisone, creating cancers in themselves, and like being able to heal through just like people healing like stage 4 cancers with just like eating healthy vegetables and stuff like that.
And channeling proper energy from your
Channeling
mind.
proper energy. Yeah, exactly.
Your mind controls your fucking body.
Yeah, it's all about
Subconsciously and consciously.
exactly. So
But like modern medicine, it's fucking amazing for like the physical shit. Like we've worked out how to do some surgeries.
mm,
Like that shit has saved so many fucking lives. Like
yeah.
and like just not even just lives, but it's funny that you mentioned like this is the line of civilization where we become civilized. There's like I've seen at least question being asked of like when do you think what was the first sign of the human species becoming civilized? And their answer was, I think it was a historian or something, but their answer was interesting because it said that first sign was when you could break a femur, the big part in your thigh, the
Mm.
big bone in your thigh, and other humans would nurture you and protect you back to health. There's not many creatures that do that. Yes, they will protect their injured and stuff, but they can't nurture so that it grows back straight, you know? Like that's when we became civilized, where we can survive things that
So,
would kill wild animals.
There'd be 3 alpha males in a tribe who can defend against like saber-tooths and shit.
If you break your femur,
And
you
then-
are dead.
Yeah, but
You're left behind.
yeah, but this tribe didn't have enough men, so they needed the 3rd member who broke his femur, so they needed to heal him so the 3 members could fight again, right? So that's basically the premise of it all.
And then we became, oh, hang on, if we just do that, we can heal each other. But I feel like we've always had that innate thing where we can obviously care for another because our infants are fucking useless. So like
Right.
an ape from when we were apes, that infant had an instinct to at least come out, have some fur, and grab onto its mum's fur.
Yep.
It was holding on itself to protect itself.
Yep.
Infant humans, they'll plonk on the ground
Shit themselves and do nothing.
and do nothing.
Yep.
And just cry.
Isn't that fascinating though? Think about this. Imagine being a predator. Imagine being a predator with enough intelligence to like, I don't know what, like they say some birds have really good memories, like crows have good memories or some shit, I can't remember.
Yeah, heaps of birds. Their brain to body weight ratio is crazy, and that's what we use to distinguish us as more intelligent.
Yeah. There you go. Imagine being like one of those prey animals who like, look at this pathetic squishy thing. And then they come back in 10 years later and they're like, oh shit, that thing's got opposable thumbs and it's using like
It's
Bro.
it's snapping twigs and making them sharp.
yeah. Bro, like as it's hard. It's almost ironic to say now because humans do so much dumb shit and we shine a light on some of the idiocy of humans. But a lot of that comes down to like tutoring, teaching, parental advisory, etc. Right? Because you see some people from like Woodridge or something, and you're like, oh my god, that person's never been taught proper English. That person doesn't know proper hygiene. They'll never work a normal day in their life. They're criminals. They're pieces
And
of
that's
shit.
just a slightly poorer area of like a pretty wealthy area, well, a very extremely wealthy area of the world, but
Yeah.
a pretty wealthy area of Australia even.
Yeah.
It's just
But
a
if-
slightly less.
Do you think if you took a bunch of people from Woodridge and threw them in a cage and said, survive these trials, they would?
Yeah.
At least out of 15, maybe like 3 would survive.
Or not even just that, but like imagine all these towns out in the proper country, right?
Yeah.
Proper country where the kids are literally working on mum and dad's farm.
Mm.
Like imagine how brute tough they are. Like
oh yeah, farm hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah, just like tough-minded.
But
tough.
they're still connected to our Western media world, right? We're all
I
connected.
watch the footy. Yeah.
Yeah, we watch the same footy,
Yeah.
but you're like, fuck, I couldn't imagine like driving down the road with traffic. What the fuck?
Yeah. But there you go. So like back to
There's so much
back to
out there.
back to the crow, man. The crow would be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
No. What I'm saying is like we don't have the biggest claws or the biggest muscle mass or the biggest striking power or density, but we are the alpha animals on this planet. We are the ultimate. We are the alpha omega.
Largely because we can group as teams and build shit.
Exactly. It's not because we have a conceptual brain or opposable thumbs. It's because we've learned to work together.
The bear human versus the bear tiger, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But once you have something where you've built objects and you're like, hey, if we throw this at it, you come from that way, you come from that way, the tiger's got no chance.
Yeah.
That we can plan.
If you did 10 lions, a pack of lions, 2 alpha males and like maybe 8 females versus 10 humans, and it was like no holes barred as long as there's no machine guns, but you're in like an area where humans can like create sharp sticks
And have a bit of time to
set
prepare.
up traps, set up fire, set up netting, set up camouflage, set up scent. Bro, we fucking dominate, bro.
Dominate.
Like there's no way. Like if you think about saber-toothed tigers versus
We
a tribe of
dominate.
humans, bro, we fucking kill it, man. Like
Do you know
I-
what's hilarious?
I love how fucking I love how powerful humans are, but I hate how little we give each other credit and how much we respect each other. Like we focus so much on this is society. You have to be at this level. If you're not at this level, you're this. If you're not at this level, you're this. And then people at this bottom level are like, well, I've been taught all my life that I'm this, so I can never reach that. So I'm going to rebel and hate myself and do drugs and commit crimes and break in and have sex with a 17-year-old girl and have 7 kids by the time I'm 30. Like,
yeah.
you don't need to be that. No, society's telling you to be this, but you can be whatever you
You
want,
can just be
bro.
living and going, oh, this is really cool that we've built all this shit and like cities and stuff. And like, I can use it
Mm.
to my advantage. Do whatever.
Fucking oath. Can you imagine in the future? I don't think anyone's ever thought about this, right? I know you had a thought. Hold on to that.
Yeah.
No one's ever thought about this, but like in the future, we always think of AI being like this thing that turns on us, right? Turns against us. I've never seen anything with an AI works with us. The AI goes, my God, look at these creatures. They're so wonderful. They're learning and they're so infantile. I'm going to treat them as my children and teach them.
Or like
You never see that.
Or like
Tell
I am
me
their
that. Tell me that. Have
they
you ever
are
seen
they
that?
are my creator. I'm
Ye-
going to teach them and help them with their life because
Yeah.
we created AI.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. That's not as fun of a story, but that's what we're working towards. We're making all these AI things like Google Home. They're all helping us. Like, yes, it has no conscience, but if we keep developing it and it does become sentient, it probably will be a more friendly thing. But the doom and gloom is a better story.
Exactly.
The doom and gloom is like, oh my God, could you imagine? We should be afraid. But it's probably just going to
Cybernet.
be like,
Yeah.
well, you said, it's just probably just going to be like Jarvis with an actual like conscience and
Yeah.
personality. And you can just be
Yeah.
like, yo, help me out. And it'll be like, happily. Like,
No one's ever going to be alone, dude. There'll be no loners anymore. It'll be like, hey,
I mean, it'll be
Jar-
strange, but we'll develop it more and more so that it's not weird that you're like you're communicating with a machine, maybe.
Mm. Hello, Kyle. How are you today? I had a really shitty day. These guys bullied me. Why, Kyle? Your muscle density is this and this.
Let's figure
You-
it out.
Yeah, let's.
And it'll have endless of therapy knowledge and techniques.
Yeah.
You will be healed by your Jarvis
Mm.
machine
It'll be
because
like
it knows you're depressed because of this. Try this next time. Da, da, da.
exactly. Kyle made fun of you because of this. Do you agree that you are a bit overweight? I haven't really done any exercise. Kyle is the leader, the captain of the football
If
team.
you're following your Jarvis, would it even let you get overweight?
Exactly.
Boom.
Kyle is the leader of the football team. Maybe you should try going out for football. I don't know. I'm not very strong. What do you think is the strongest part of your body, Kyle? Johnny? My arms? What about your legs? The leg density is this and this. Maybe my legs should be a bit stronger. Here are some options on how to get bigger legs.
Yeah.
Your weight is
Dude.
your weight is this at the moment. Maybe you should start squatting at this level. It'll be good for your spine and your thorax. Da-da-da-da-da.
Boom. Just instant like workout regime.
Right. Oi, cheers to technology and AI.
But that's what we're working towards, right? Like we're not
Better-
working towards like, oh, AI is going to kill us, but that's just what we like to focus on because it's a cool story and it scares people, you know?
Do you know what I think, right? At the end of the day, here's the thing. People listening. At the end of the day, all human beings, society, everything, everyone wants to be healthy, happy, and live longer, right? Why is that? We want to reach a state of perfection, right? It's not just that. Humans don't want to reach a state where every 100%, can you imagine if 100% every single human being on the planet, and they can determine like people ages from this whatever, are all at the perfect peak level of fitness, health, and longevity. We eat the right food, ecosystem's perfect, we're mentally stable from our life upbringing, and we all have perfect regimes depending on our genetics. And like, okay, I'm predisposed to this, so I'm going to work out on this and I'm going to eat this, right?
So what would even happen?
What would happen is complete harmony, and then what's next?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
This is where
what the fuck is
this is where
next?
Warhammer 40k kicks in for me, right? This
All right, yeah.
This is why I love Warhammer so much. It's a bit twisted version of this. We've reached that already. That's the climax. Where do we go after that when all these other influences come in?
Yeah.
Let's say we discover how to travel, instant light travel in our time, reality, whatever, right? Let's find out that there are intergalactic alien races out there. Are they hostile? Are they friendly? What are their recommendations? How more advanced are they than us? Do they decide to use us as something? Do we have a choice?
Like we develop so far and so crazily with technology that we can just, and it's actually like real. Like you're
It's
then
real.
communicating on a bigger level and you
Oh,
become
yeah.
this bigger structure of beings.
A better version of humans than we are now. We're able to travel light speed. We find out there's an intergalactic alien species, right? Different aliens working together. Milky Way's a tiny microscopic, tiny backwater microscopic, right? We discover and they're like, welcome, it's about time. You're human, right? We've
been watching your
for about
development.
We've known about you for 2,000 years. And here you are. Welcome to the council. There's currently a threat going on. This is it here. What can you offer this?
And it's just like our
Or-
species was just born. and we're just the infant of Earth, and then we've
Ooh.
grown up, and then they're like, you finally hatched from your egg.
Yeah.
Please come to us.
Yeah.
We just all become one consciousness.
And then imagine if we got exactly.
Oh,
We're just a hive mind, right?
Yeah.
And imagine if we're just like.
We already are a hive mind. It's scary.
It's true. And we look at others, we're like look at microscopic. We're just ants in an ant farm.
Yes.
Right?
And this is what I was going to say before with the whole figuring out how to fight things that are actually physically stronger than us. It's because we're ants. We can plan and we just go.
Yeah. Yeah. Flanking, maneuvering. Exactly.
Working as this group, a hive,
Yeah.
to attack things.
Imagine human beings, us, reaching such a high level, such a high state. We unlock this new chapter in our species, which is other human alien races, right? Not human
In our
alien races.
existence,
In our
yeah.
existence. And then they treat us as if we're nothing but an ant farm. Right?
Yeah, but we've developed to the level where we can now communicate with them.
But
and we're the child. They treat us like we're a little
exactly,
child.
we're the child, but imagine the shock to our ego.
Oh yeah.
We have every single device that can heal us. We have everything that will keep us healthy. We have
We're like,
AIs.
what do you mean?
Yeah, we have this
What
like
the fuck else could we have?
yeah. We've got like because like
and then the other species are like, oh, you mean you guys still die?
Yeah.
Your cells still die and they're calling us individual human cells?
yeah, exactly.
Like, you mean you guys still... Ugh.
You're still cells.
Figure that shit out.
We're made of ephemeral gas, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give it another 12 million years, you know?
Yeah.
So here's the funny thing is like, there's just so many levels to human ego and what we can achieve, right? We're such in a low level now that we can't even fathom what's going to be there
Yeah.
in 100 years,
Yeah.
right? Never mind 20,000 years. Like we're just so like we right now, you and I are us reading
Speck of dust.
we're reading a thing about like peasants who used to piss on each other because they thought it was like antiseptic.
Yeah.
We are nothing but peasants who rub shit on each other, dog shit, because we thought our God will heal us.
Yeah.
We are nothing right now.
Yeah.
20,000 years from now, they're going to laugh at us.
Yeah, we've made these little tools where we can cut into the brain and we can fix the brain. And people are like, "Pah, you cut? What?"
Yeah.
And
With-
now we're
with
like,
metal?
no, we've developed these lasers. They're like, what? With light? Are you kidding? You haven't discovered the spirit yet?
You haven't discovered the Heimlich?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever the name
Right.
will be.
Bro.
Shit.
It's so depressing. It's so
Yeah, but at the same
but
time, it's so like,
here's the
what
beautiful
the
thing.
fuck?
Yeah, but
I want to bring it back to Earth, but yeah,
wait,
go.
here's a beautiful thing, bro. It's recorded. Maybe they'll find these and they'll realize they'll see us commenting on the future and being like, how cool were these two dudes?
Yeah, and then you're like, this is what they used to record on. Look at this.
Yeah.
How strange is this? It's a flat image. What is that? The holograms have evolved so much that it's just like as if the person is in front of you and you're watching it and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, dude.
It's like, shit.
It's embarrassing, eh?
Dude, and then we, as this fucking species that's figured all this shit out, where we're like, we can just plan and just build these things and we can all collaborate. Then we look at animals and we watch like a lions hunt like a fucking buffalo or something. And we're like, oh my God, isn't that so cool? Like, look how they're planning their attack. Like, there's two of them over there. It's like they're communicating and they're like planning to
with their
like
mouths.
yeah, like, oh my God, they're like looking at each other and they know what to do and they're like planning like to kill this buffalo and that's so cool. Like,
Cool.
yeah, bro, that's exactly what you're doing, but on a different level.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck?
Bro, I love sci-fi shit, bro. Wait, do you know what's crazy is about black holes, right? So we
Black
know
holes, dude.
we know
Fuck.
that like eventually we know from like all this shit that eventually every star in our universe will die out and explode and
Fucked
just
up, eh?
disappear and like there'll be eternal nothingness, right? Imagine if the black holes are just like an escape from that. So a black
We
hole.
have no idea what it is because it's just such dense matter.
I know, but
Imagine if there's just shit inside there just
yeah.
existing.
What if there's like parallel realms and black holes and we're just
Probably.
like we're never gonna see it. We're never gonna know.
Dude, You know that video you're talking about where it's I think it's called time lapse to the end of all time or something.
Yeah. That's
where
what
it
I'm
just
quoting.
where the time doubles every second of the video, so it's going into trillions of years where all the stars die out. Blah blah. Blah. I showed my dad that. We should have my dad on the podcast one time.
I want your dad on the podcast.
He studied physics, right? So
He did.
yeah, back in his day, dude. And then he worked in IT for ages. But I showed him that video. I'm like, Dad, this is sick. Watch this. And he's like, this is so interesting. And I like watched the first, like, you know, it's really long. It's like half an hour long. Watch like the first 5 minutes. I'm like, yeah, so it keeps going through this stuff. And
This
I'm
is
like,
10 million trillion
yeah. And I'm like,
years.
yeah, it just keeps going like this. Like, this is what I've watched. He's like, I'm going to have to watch this whole thing. This is really interesting. And he obviously watched the whole thing and he messages me. He's like, you know that video? Yeah. So by the end, like, it suggests that matter is finite. So I don't really agree with that. Like, there's theories against that. And I was like, right. Yes, Dad. Yeah. Yes, matter is not finite. I understand. Explain.
I-
I was like, what?
Can I ask you a question? Do you find it difficult as you're older to like connect with your dad?
I think it's easier to connect on like an adult level.
Yeah.
But do you mean like as they get even older and you're like,
No, but it's just like my dad's very much into like footy and stuff, and like I can communicate with my dad normally. Hey, how are you? Yeah, good, thanks. I'm doing this and this. Oh yeah, thanks, Dad. Thanks for the advice. Da, da,
you
da.
watch the game?
You watch the game, and then he'll comment on it. I don't feel that. And what do you think of this movie? Oh yeah, that's your opinion. Like, do you find?
Well,
do you
yeah,
find
it's
it like
because if
you can't communicate with your dad like you can communicate with like a bro, like a mate.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Because we have different, like, completely different interests that back in their day probably didn't exist, like the
That's
movies
true.
and shit.
But like, when was the last time you got drunk and your dad was drunk at the same time? Because like,
my parents can drink, yeah.
yeah, but like when I
When we go to the farm, the bit of land that we've got,
yeah.
when we drink, we just chill.
Did you get pissed recently?
Well, on the farm
Yeah.
when I went, yeah, we
But
had
like that's the
heaps
thing.
of
Like
beers.
the thing is like you get drunk, right? And then at some point in the night you sit next to your dad.
Yeah,
Not so much your mum, because your mum's always your mum, right? As
Yeah.
a man, your mum, you know your mum through and through, right?
yeah,
But as your dad, you're like, that's my old man. I gotta,
yeah.
So you sit next to him and you talk to him, and then you like talk and you're like, I'm fucking drunk right now. I'm gonna say anything to my
Yeah.
dad, and then you just talk shit with your dad, and they can keep up with it. And after a while, you're like, fuck, my dad's a legend, bro.
Yeah.
Like, he had a
You're
whole
like-
convo with me, like a
You're like, holy
podcast.
shit, my dad's like lived through shit. He's got
Yeah.
experiences and stuff.
Yeah.
Like when you realize that at
Yeah.
a certain age, you're just like, whoa, man. Whoa. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You get drunk and you're like, hey man, like this and this and this. And you're like, yeah, what's up?
It's true, man. It's so cool. Like it's weird that we're stuck in this world by ourselves. We have friends, we have family, but you're almost really, when you get to an age, you're stuck by yourself, right? But at the end of the day, you still
But
have
that's
these...
when you're like supposed to create your own family, right?
Exactly.
Because that's what we grew into. And we're like, oh yeah, that's mum and dad.
My
And now you're
turn.
like, fuck, mum and dad were just like two dickheads like us now that got together and then had a child.
Yeah.
Like what my friends are doing over there. They had a child, and now that child sees them as like their entire world. They're like, yeah, mum and dad this, da 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 da. Then they're gonna go to school and they're gonna grow up and go, holy shit, my mum and dad were just normal people. What?
Yeah.
Like it's just this fucking
Yeah,
cycle
yeah.
where we're now at this age. We're like, should we be having kids?
Yeah.
Like, should we be creating like more life and like a family or something?
It's true. It's
I don't
true,
know. We're
bro.
probably
It's
past
true.
that. Like, people start way younger, but we're like, what?
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
we're a bit more introspective and we're a bit more ambitious. Because,
yeah,
like, if you think about some people, you could stay where you grew up, you stay where you're from, know your place, you can have kids easily, right?
yeah,
Where we are, we're a bit more like, fuck it, we're going to risk this for that.
yeah. That and like, I came to realize this because I always thought like, oh, everyone loves this. You know how we have traveled, both of us.
You
Like,
more than me, bro. I've
but
done fuck all.
But that's
compared to
why
you.
I said both of us, because even though you haven't traveled as much, you've still traveled. There's people out there that aren't interested in leaving the country. Like, legitimately, you're like, oh, why would you do that? Nah.
That's a
Like,
problem
I
with
knew-
like social media and stuff, bro. They could go on
Yeah.
YouTube and look up a dude walking around
But it's real
Shanghai,
life.
Tokyo and shit.
But it's like real life. Like,
Yeah.
But even without,
Oh, that looks normal enough to me. I don't need to
but
go
they're not
there.
interested. Like they wouldn't even look it up on YouTube. They're just not interested. Like I had an old boss. She was in her 40s. She never left the country, and she had like 3 kids, and they've had 2 houses.
How old was she?
But in her
Roughly.
40s, like
Oh,
43,
40s? Oh,
early 40s.
Fuck, dude. And never left the country. That's horrible.
Yeah,
It's horrible.
like in her 40s, but 3 kids, had the house, had another house, and that was their life. That's what they wanted to do. They're just like, yeah, we're going to buy this house, we're going to renovate it, we're going to build it, then we're going to sell it, we're going to do another one. And only now recently, because I'm still like friends with her, she's an old boss of mine. Recently now, she's done a few like trips. She's gone to America, and I was like, holy shit, you're traveling. She's like, yeah, the kids are older. Like her kids are like high school, and a couple of them moved out, like that kind of age now. So she would have been like she'd be like late 40s now.
Mm.
And now they're just like doing shit. And I'm like, whoa. Whereas ours is like, my interest has always been like, go explore some shit. And that's why I don't have a house and a family yet. So it's
Yeah.
like just a different take. Like you just play a different card. You're like, no, I'm going to play this card.
Let me ask
Someone
you
else
this.
is like, oh, I'm going to play this card because I like this traditional, like, stand at home.
It makes sense. We're basically breaking down human civilization right now
Yeah.
in the 21st century. I love it. Because it's true. Like, dude, no one can give us shit. Like, we may not have the statistics completely, and especially in all countries over the globe.
Statistics.
But we're talking about, we're experiencing it. Like anyone who's like studying us in 200 years, studying these recordings, will say, well, they may have not had this statistics, but they've lived it. So I can't argue with these guys.
It's
right?
interesting,
They've
isn't
got their
it?
own opinion, right? So
Very
fucking
interesting.
Yeah.
And like that's like the tiny circle that we've lived in, right?
Yeah.
So we just experience this, and we're like, wow, there's people that just live a completely different life. And you're like, I want to chase this, I want to chase that.
Yeah.
And other people are like, I went to university and then I did this profession, and now this is what I do. And then I met my wife, and then we got married, and then we got kids, and that's what we do.
Let me ask you this. Let's say let's say you are you, but in 10,000 years from now, 10,000 years,
Unfathomable.
plus an old recording of these or like ancient Rome, right? And then if someone said to you, who would you prefer to get information from? A specialist who's studied everything they need to know about ancient Rome in the 20,000 years from now, or someone who was actually there at the time who had a small bubble of civilization, didn't see all of Italy, but lived in Rome at the time.
It's 2 different things. I feel like it's 2 different
But
experiences. I would go.
yeah, totally.
I would go
no, but honestly, like,
obviously the guy that's been there is more interesting.
Exactly.
But the specialist, you'd be like, you'd want to go to him to get like the overall picture. Like, what the fuck was that world like?
Let's say 20,000 years from now, they want to say who. What do you think at the time? What was the things like around the guy? How did you feel about Emperor Augustus? Right? You asked the specialist who's written all this literature and studied it, or someone who lived around the time, didn't care so much about the rule because emperors come and go, but lived at the time. Whose opinion would you care about more?
Yeah, you'd be like, what the fuck was it like living with the emperor
Precisely.
ruling the fucking place?
Yeah.
Whereas
exactly.
the specialist would just go, oh yes, most peasants, they
felt this and this.
they felt this.
And the peasant's like, not really, bro. I had a pretty fucking good life, bro. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because you might hear the exact opposite. Because like, even though we're constantly feeling like we struggle, I don't know if this is everyone or if this is me, you're constantly struggling, or you have an experience like, we've done the podcast on my recent travel escapades to America with all the fucked up missed flights and all this shit. And at the time, you're just like, oh, this sucks so much, man. First world problems. I missed my flight. Like, it's so painful. And you're like, oh, I wish I didn't go. Da-da-da. But then afterwards, now when I think of that trip, all I think of is the cool bits, like the positive bits. So like you might look at history and go, oh yeah, the peasants, they lived a horrible life. They were constantly struggling. And then you talk to one of the peasants, they're like, oh man, we had the best time, like all the time. Because they don't reflect as much on the like, oh my God, it was horrible. Every day I had to carry this sack of potatoes. That was just their job, you know?
Fucking heavy.
Yeah. That was just
Yeah.
their job, and they had a good time around it.
Exactly. Well said, my man.
Should we?
Yeah.
Should we end it there?
Let me finish
Or
on
you want to
this.
ferment it?
I want to ferment it with some questions for you. What makes you happy throughout this week? What makes you happy throughout the day?
What makes me happy is creating a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me happy. I look forward to that.
Mm-hmm. What's the best color you've seen this week?
Color.
What's a color that stood out and you're like, I really like that? That you've seen. It may be a color you've seen a million times, but you just really liked this week.
Look, I'm a big fan of like a dark blue, like these curtains, but my bed sheets are like the same color. So I really like
You like the
the
navy?
calming aspect of
Darker
the navy. Yeah.
Yeah. This looks like oceanic water. Like
That's not saying it's my favorite color.
Mm-hmm. What is your favorite color?
Well, like I have mixed opinions on whether you're allowed to change it or
It's a
not.
hard question to answer, but
It's a mixed opinions of whether I'm allowed to change it or not.
What's your
because
top notch at the start?
It used to always be yellow.
Oh, that's a cool color.
Yeah, but sometimes I look at yellow and I go, ugh, that's fucking, what the fuck is that?
Yellow, that's a really niche color.
Yeah,
I
because
feel like my brother chose yellow at one point in his life. He's like, yellow's my favorite color. And I was like, why? He's like, it's different. Nobody else likes it. I like the color. It's whatever, you know?
Yeah, but he's picked that out of purpose, whereas I've just, as a kid,
You
been
like
like,
it.
I like yellow, but I would never wear yellow. I don't
Yeah.
think I ever have worn yellow.
See, that's
Or I
the
would
problem.
never have yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I did have yellow bed sheets when I was little. They were yellow with like blue, navy blue moons on them and shit. So I've had that, but like now, and I think I wore yellow sweaters when I was little, but now I wouldn't like wear yellow or probably even have anything yellow
Yeah.
unless it was like a gaming controller. You know how that's like a fluoro yellowy
Fluoro
green?
yellow,
Yeah.
I don't see any yellow anywhere.
None, nowhere. So like, but like in terms of colors, I'm like, oh, it's nice and bright, feels sunny, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Blue.
You know what? Green's not my favorite color, but any shade of green, not lime, like that real bright green, but like forest greens and dark greens and teals and stuff.
Bro,
I love green, bro.
if you say to me,
I'd wear
what's your-
green. I'd wear green all the time if it didn't look ugly. Yeah, that's olive. That's what you call
Okay,
olive.
but that's like a version of green.
It's olive green, yeah. Dude.
Yeah.
Olive's a sick color.
But like,
green's
you
not my
say-
favorite color, but I love green.
Yes.
I'd keep green all the time.
like green as in green scenery, yes. Big fan.
Big time.
Green as in
green
what
cars.
Cars. What the
Green-
fuck's your favorite color in cars? Like not even an olive, but like that dark metallic
Yeah,
green.
Yeah. In interior of buildings, you're like, oh my God, this is green. This is cool.
Yeah.
People's like, all your pens green, all your notebooks, all your accessories at work.
It's green.
Green skirt, green shoes, green dress,
What?
green top,
Top
green
notch.
tie.
Top notch.
Do you know? Because we all know that green's like subconscious, like red light stop, green, orange is
It's
like
like the
halfway.
positive go color.
It is psychologically. It is like the
Do you think
positive
that was
color.
that developed?
Forests, animals coming
Yes.
from forests. 100%.
And
100%.
because of that background and evolution, green is the color that we can see the most shades of.
Dude, we see like, what is
Which
it like?
is why night vision
5,000
goggles.
5,000 or something crazy like that. Yeah.
Every single screen.
What is it? 5,000 different shades of green or something ridiculous
I
like
don't know the
that.
numbers.
I'm spitballing. I don't know the answer. But yeah. Anyways, it's been great. It's been good talking to you guys.
It's been a saucy time.
Cheers.
Van later.
Prost.